Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. WWE Monday Night Raw this week is set to kick off in a big way. It was revealed during Friday Night SmackDown that the Eradicator of the Judgment Day would be kicking off the Red brand. For those unaware, the Ripper made her return to television during Monday Night Raw last week. In the final moments of the show, her music hit and she received an incredible applause before chasing Liv Morgan off and confronting Dominik Mysterio. Ripley had been away for several months. During a backstage brawl with Liv Morgan, the then Women's World Champion injured her shoulder and she was forced to vacate her title. She had been absent ever since then until the Red brand's latest episode. Now that fans know Rhea is back and she'll be opening Monday Night Raw, the big question is, what will Ripley do first? This article will look at a handful of things that the Eradicator of the Judgment Day should do as soon as the Red brand's next episode begins on Monday. Below are 4 things Rhea Ripley must do as the first order of business on WWE Raw next week. 4. She must dump Dominik Mysterio. Dominik Mysterio has had quite the journey in WWE. Dirty Dom started his career as Rey Mysterio's innocent son. That took a dramatic shift in 2022, however, when Dirty Dom was corrupted by the Judgment Day. More specifically, he was corrupted by Rhea Ripley and the two became an on-screen couple. Over time, both developed and Dominik became one of WWE's most hated stars while Rhea became one of the most popular. This makes Mysterio's recent actions with Liv Morgan all the more frustrating for fans. When Rhea Ripley kicks off Monday Night Raw, the first thing she may do is address Dirty Dom's actions with Liv and proceed to dump him on the spot. This will allow her to focus on her career, as opposed to someone who potentially cheated or was on the verge of doing so. 3. Rhea Ripley must leave the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day has long been the #1 faction on WWE Raw, especially once the Bloodline became SmackDown exclusive. The group has gone through various lineups, but right now it may be the most impressive, at least on paper. The group features Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Dominik Mysterio, and Carlito as an unofficial member. There's also the Liv Morgan factor, although that is still up in the air. Notably, though, it seemed as if only Damian kept in contract with Rhea Ripley during her sabbatical from WWE television. Many believe he is on his way out of the group, but Rhea may beat him to the punch by quitting the faction on Raw. If the family didn't support her, why should she stick around? 2. She needs to ask Adam Pearce for a WWE Championship match. Triple H made a big announcement last year. After the role had been gone for many years, the game reintroduced the general manager position for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Adam Pearce runs WWE Raw, Ava heads NXT, and Nick Aldis runs WWE SmackDown. As a result of running the Red brand, it is Pearce who is responsible for much of the decision-making, which includes championship matches. As a result, Rhea may use the opening segment of Monday Night Raw to call out Adam Pearce and ask for, if not outright demand, a championship match against Liv Morgan. Pearce could potentially book it for SummerSlam or even later that night. 1. The Nightmare must attack Liv Morgan. Asking for a match with Liv Morgan is the polite and babyface thing to do, but that isn't always Rhea's approach to matters. Instead, the Eradicator of the Judgment Day may open WWE Raw looking for violence. As noted, it was Liv Morgan who injured Rhea Ripley during a backstage brawl. This forced the then champion to vacate her title. Since then, Liv has routinely attempted to belittle and humiliate the dangerous Ripley, which may have been a massive mistake on the WWE champion's part. When Raw kicks off, Ripley may either demand Liv come out or attack her in the back and force her to appear in front of the crowd. From there, Rhea could take revenge on her former tag team partner in front of thousands of screaming fans. Dominik Mysterio's punishment and exit from Judgment Day. For things Rhea Ripley must do as first order of business on WWE Raw next week, the tension in the air was palpable as the lights dimmed and the familiar opening riff of "This Fire Burns" reverberated through the arena. Dominik Mysterio stood in the center of the ring, his face a mask of defiance mixed with uncertainty. The past weeks had been a whirlwind of controversy and conflict within Judgment Day, culminating in Dominik's shocking betrayal during their last pay-per-view match. The betrayal had cost them dearly, and now Dominik was about to face the consequences. The crowd's murmurs grew louder, anticipation building as the Titantron flickered to life, revealing the imposing figure of Rhea Ripley. As she made her way to the ring, her eyes locked onto Dominik, her expression unreadable. She had been the cornerstone of Judgment Day, the one who held everything together. Now, she had the unenviable task of addressing the chaos that had ensued and setting things right. As Rhea stepped into the ring, the audience fell silent, waiting for her to speak. She took a deep breath, the weight of leadership heavy on her shoulders. "Dominik," she began, her voice steady but firm, "you've put us all in a difficult position. Your actions have not only jeopardized our mission, but have also betrayed the trust we've placed in you. There must be consequences." Dominik's jaw tightened, but he remained silent, knowing that arguing would only make things worse. Rhea continued, her gaze unwavering. "Judgment Day was built on unity, strength, and loyalty. Your betrayal goes against everything we stand for. As your punishment, you're officially out of Judgment Day. But that's not where it ends. We need to make a statement, and that means making some changes around here." With that declaration, the crowd erupted into a mix of cheers and boos. Rhea's decision was both ruthless and necessary. As the dust settled, she turned her attention to the future, outlining her first order of business for next week's WWE Raw. 1. Re-establish dominance. The first thing Rhea needed to do was re-establish Judgment Day's dominance. The faction had taken a hit with Dominik's betrayal, and they needed to remind everyone of their power and influence. Rhea planned to call out any challengers who doubted their strength, issuing an open challenge to the locker room. It was time to show that Judgment Day was still a force to be reckoned with. 2. Recruit new blood. With Dominik gone, there was a void in the faction that needed to be filled. Rhea knew that bringing in fresh talent would not only bolster their ranks but also send a message that Judgment Day was evolving. She had her eye on a few promising up-and-comers who could benefit from the guidance and protection that Judgment Day offered. By the end of Raw, she intended to have a new member ready to take Dominik's place. 3. Punish betrayal. Rhea knew that Dominik's actions couldn't go unpunished. She needed to make an example out of him to ensure that no one else in the locker room thought about crossing Judgment Day. Dominik would face a series of grueling matches against some of the toughest opponents on the roster. Each match would be a lesson in pain and a reminder that betrayal had severe consequences. Rhea's plan was to push Dominik to his limits, breaking him down physically and mentally until he understood the gravity of his actions. 4. Strengthen alliances. Judgment Day couldn't afford to stand alone in these turbulent times. Rhea recognized the importance of strategic alliances within the WWE. She planned to approach other factions and superstars who shared their goals or had grievances with their common enemies. By forming temporary alliances, Judgment Day could expand their influence and gain valuable allies in their quest for dominance. The arena was electric with anticipation as the night of WWE Raw arrived. Rhea Ripley stood at the forefront of Judgment Day, ready to put her plans into action. The open challenge was the first order of business, and as the bell rang, superstars lined up to test their mettle against the formidable faction. Match after match, Judgment Day emerged victorious, their dominance reaffirmed. Next, Rhea unveiled the newest member of Judgment Day, a young and hungry talent eager to prove themselves. The addition brought a renewed energy to the group, a reminder that Judgment Day was always evolving, always growing stronger. Dominik's punishment began immediately, with a brutal match against a seasoned veteran. The crowd watched in awe as he was pushed to his limits, his every move a testament to the consequences of betrayal. Match after match, Dominik's spirit was tested, and he began to understand the gravity of his actions. Finally, Rhea reached out to potential allies, her strategic mind working to forge connections that would benefit Judgment Day. Meetings were held in secret, deals were struck, and alliances were formed. The future of Judgment Day looked brighter than ever, with new partnerships promising to bolster their ranks and extend their influence. As the night drew to a close, Rhea stood tall in the ring, her presence commanding and resolute. She had taken the first steps towards rebuilding Judgment Day, and the results were already evident. Dominik's punishment was far from over, but Rhea's swift and decisive actions had set the tone for the future. The message was clear: Judgment Day was here to stay, and anyone who dared to cross them would face the full wrath of their fury.